I have them too. I don't figure enough. Okay, fellow babies, thank you. Welcome back to Pachter Factor. Thanks for joining us on SIFTD.net. And if you're a Patreon patron, thank you. That's helping us pay the bills. If you are an Amazon Prime member, we'd appreciate it if you could remember to link your Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. We get paid by Amazon. That's cool. And you're getting the show real time. You're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe there and get the show real time. Otherwise, you're watching a week late, and the cost of doing that is follow me on Twitter at Michael Pachter. Our question today from Sifted from Elvis One Cat. Why doesn't Apple buy Nintendo and open its IP to the huge platform of iOS, macOS, and tvOS? Seems like it would be a great acquisition for all involved. What would keep it from pulling the trigger? My God, I've been saying this for years, and I know that you're not a client of mine. I think that Nintendo is more valuable than Marvel. Obviously, the stock trades higher than Marvel stock, but Disney has been so brilliant in its purchases of Lucas and Marvel and Pixar, and it has taken that IP, and Pixar the worst of them, and it was still great. And Marvel, far and away the best purchase they ever made. And even Lucas, brilliant. And they've exploited the IP so much better than the prior owners did that proves that, yes, Apple should buy Nintendo. So should Disney. But I agree with you. I look at Apple Arcade, which is kind of a flop, and I see paid download games that are an anachronism. Nobody makes them anymore, and the business model makes no sense. And Apple saying, okay, developers, make what used to be paid download games. And the difference in mobile, paid download is start, middle, finish. You finish the game and it's over. And a normal mobile game, free to play, is ongoing forever. And there's always something to build, and you got to spend money to build it faster. That's essentially what everything is. So they hook you into wanting to accomplish all these things. You want to speed things up. And so you just spend money to do it faster. And the guys who know how to do that and build a good economy, make mobile games and make a ton of money, Apple thought there's room for start, middle, finish games on iOS. We'll do Apple Arcade, $5 a month. We'll take the profits from that, call it $350, pay that out to the developers. If you're playing their game, then if you play 10% of your time on their game, we'll give them 35 cents. That's how the developers got paid. Nobody made enough games for them, and that service is floundering. What would happen if you took the entire Nintendo library of handheld games, and I'm talking Game Boy, crappy Game Boy mechanics, to Game Boy Color, to Game Boy Advance, to DS, to 3DS, and put it on an iPhone? I once tried to calculate this, and please correct me if I'm wrong, one of you fanboys, but I think there are 1,200 Nintendo games made for those various platforms. I think it is 1,200 separate games. And I once tried to count, I think I counted right, but I'm not 100% sure. Why wouldn't you put out a subscription service, and we'll start with 100 Nintendo games from all those different platforms, and then every month we'll give you 10 new ones? Because if you did that every month, that's 120 a year, and you'd have 9 more years of releasing new games. And who wouldn't pay $5 a month for that? Everybody would pay $5 a month. I played Super Mario Brothers 3 on my DS until a year or two ago, and my DS finally died and wouldn't recharge. I loved that game. I mean, I just love playing that game over and over and over again. I would play Zelda Ocarina of Time. I mean, are you kidding me? How great is that game? Put that on iOS, and you would have, and I'm not making this up, 100 million people paying you $5 a month. If Netflix has 192 million subscribers paying an average across all of Netflix, like $10 a month or $11 a month, you could get 200 million people paying $5 a month for Nintendo games. Now, Nintendo doesn't need Apple to pull this off. They could do it themselves. They're just too late. Like they just announced they're not even going to pursue mobile because they can't make a free-to-play game with in-game purchases. They don't know how to do it. They know how to make start, middle, finish games. and the paid download model is dead. So Nintendo needs to do this. Apple has already tried to do it, and this makes perfect sense. And for Apple, Nintendo is chump change. I mean, they could buy Nintendo for nothing. Now, Nintendo's worth like $50 billion. It's not an inexpensive company, but Apple, chump change. Like, they could do it with their petty cash. So yes, they should do that. And no, they won't do it. The reason is that it's hard to buy Japanese companies. The Japanese tend to stick together. They are owned by a bunch of Japanese shareholders. Even like when Nissan was kind of acquired by Renault, you can look this up. The president of Nissan, Carlos Ghosn, who is a Brazilian French guy, born in Brazil, I think, but he's French. The French guy, they arrested him for bribing somebody. God knows what he did. He literally got snuck out of the country in like a packing crate. You look it up, it just happened. But they don't like foreign ownership of Japanese companies. They hate it. And so they had this guy arrested for daring to take over a Japanese tradition of automaking. And Nissan's a great company. He was a great CEO, and they became super profitable under him, but they still arrested him, threw him in jail, and he did a jailbreak. It's worth looking. So the answer is, I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it's a brilliant idea. I've been saying this to investors for years. So you, Elvis One Cat, have a future as a prognosticator on the video game business, and you'll be wrong just as often as I am. Thanks for joining us on Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. Thank you for your patronage on Patreon. Thank you for linking your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube, and thank you for following me on Twitter at Michael Pachter. See you next time.